A huge Airaid cold air intake fail for my Jeep Gladiator. It started out well, but then it went downhill. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to robmotivejt. And today we're going to do a quick unboxing of this Airaid cold air intake because I am replacing the S&B cold air intake that I have on the Jeep right now. And you might be wondering, well, why are you doing that? Well, because I briefly had an Airaid cold air intake on my Jeep Gladiator before it went to my wife's Jeep Wrangler, and I really like the sound. And it's not like the S&B is quiet, it's not. It has decent sound too, but the Airaid was just a little bit better, I think. A little bit louder, a little bit throatier. So we're gonna unbox this real quick. I'm gonna pull the S&B, we're gonna put the Airaid on, and then we'll have a test as to which one is actually louder. See what you guys think. Part number and all that stuff will be below in the description field if you're looking to check this out, price, availability, all that. It did take me about 2 weeks to get this in, given the shortages we seem to be having with everything right now. So, what do we have? Well, we have packaging, and we have some tubing, a little oily, I guess, for shipping or preservation purposes. We have the sleeve to connect it up to the throttle body, I'm assuming. And another sleeve to connect it up to the box itself. Then we have a filter, and this is supposed to be the non-oiled version. We'll have to check that in just a second. And then the air box itself right here. Next up, see what we have behind us here. Some hardware, gotta have that. Looks like something fell out. That's not a good sign. Don't know why that's laying in there. We'll find out what that's for in a minute. And then some instructions. Cool. Make sure I don't have anything else loose in here. I do. I have a washer. Not sure what that's for either. We'll find out. So that's all the guts, if you will. So I believe first thing we have to do is put a washer in here, which if I recall is a bear, so that we can mount the sensor, the math sensor in here. So we're going to do that in just a second. All right, I've got everything laid out on the table here, all the pieces and parts. Everything here is what goes with the Airaid. I did disconnect the battery, the negative terminal. It says to do that first thing. Very important when you're switching these, I think, just to give the system a chance to reset or restart once you reconnect the MAV sensor. They can be a little finicky. Now, one thing that I'm going to do, I am going to divert from the directions a little bit. They have you taking off the original cold air intake first. Now, I'm not going to do that because in a nightmare scenario, you go ahead, do all that, go to assemble everything you need to assemble for the new cold air intake, and you're missing a part. I don't want to have to do that, then put the whole thing back on while I wait for that part to come. So we're going to assemble the Airaid cold air intake first. And the first step, as I mentioned, is this bear of a grommet that goes in the hole here. That was very difficult to do last time. It took me about 15-20 minutes to get this grommet in that hole. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to show that. It just fits inside. You just have to finagle it in there. It has a little ribbed area there that you fit inside. And I find the ribbed area is actually not wide enough to fit over the edge of the inside of the tube, if you will. In other words, this material is thicker than the rib on this edge, and that's what makes it so difficult to get in. But I'm going to tackle that first. Full disclosure, much easier to get this in today. Maybe it's because it's so hot out here and the grommet is really flexible, but it took me like 15 seconds, no big deal. So we have that in. Next up, it says to install the quick disconnect vent. Let's see, quick disconnect vent. That would be this piece right here, and it is supposed to screw into this area right here. The one thing I notice about this, Airaid's is plastic. Some of the others I've seen are metal. I think I prefer the metal, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and screw this in and tighten it up, and then after that, let's see, we're supposed to put the window into the top of the box right here. That would be the Airaid plastic or glass, I guess it's plastic window, and it screws in right here. All right, maybe I jinxed myself in the beginning of the video by stating that you should wait before you remove your existing cold air intake until you get everything assembled on the new one, because indeed, first time this has happened to me with all the parts I've ordered, well, excluding 2 incorrect bolts on the Tacoma's sport bar there, but the first time I've received any kind of a kit that was missing parts, especially this volume. Take a look. This is the number of parts I'm missing. All of these, and these are the quantities. I mean, it's not huge quantities, but K here is the actual lid that goes over the front of the unit. I mean, how in the heck, G-rated, do you miss something like that? Obviously, there's no inspection. Somebody threw these in the box. Maybe it was returned. Who knows? It didn't look like it, but they're going to send it out to me. I will say, when I called customer service, they were very helpful, very friendly. Although one thing I will note, she did say that if there were more than half the parts missing, I would have to return it to, in this case, Quadratech. That is where I got this cold air intake, which would have been a drag for me. I want the parts. I don't care if there's half missing or 1 missing. I want the parts. And could you have imagined, again, if you went ahead and disconnected everything, pulled your existing cold air intake, and then found out the one you got does not have enough parts? In my case, even the lid to go ahead and put the thing on, and then you got to screw around and put your Jeep, in this case, back together. What a bummer. Thumbs down to Airaid and Quadratech. And I include Quadratech because, hey, they're the ones I bought it from. They need to make sure that their suppliers are doing the things that they need to do. It's on both of them. Anyway, we'll see. I'm going to button this back up. I am going to go ahead, and if you want to watch through the rest of the video, I'm going to put the parts that I do have on the unit so that it's ready to go once the new parts do arrive. And I apologize because I wasn't able to finish the install. I guess, lesson learned, check all the parts before you do anything. And a lot of the instructions do tell you that. I don't know if these did or not, because honestly I didn't look. But come on, why should I have to? So let's continue on with what we can do, at least to get this thing ready so I can install it once the parts do arrive. 3 to 5 business days, I was told. This is Thursday, so Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. What a bummer. Okay, next up, we are supposed to install the Airaid lid, or the cover rather, that goes right over this area here. Problem is, I am short 1 screw, 1 nut, and some washers apparently that you use to install that. So you're gonna have to set this aside. We can't install that. After that, we're supposed to install these little feet. I'll call them feet. They call them mounts. They actually go right here on the bottom of the unit itself, the box. I believe we have enough hardware for that, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure we do, and then we'll install those. Okay, we've got the little legs on. You can see here that was really pretty easy, and that's all we can do. The next steps require mounting the filter to the lid, which I don't have, and then installing the lid to the box, which I don't have the lid, and then of course this little rubber grommet thing goes into the car itself and then bolts onto the airbox. Can't do that because I'm not putting the airbox on yet. Here's the bolt that would screw it in. And then of course connecting the whole thing up to the truck, which I can't do yet because I can't finish it. Anyway, that is as much as I can do so far. I can't tell you how disappointing it is. Again, G-rated channel. I think it's absurd when a company sends something out that's missing so many parts. You know, a screw or something. Not that I like it, but I can deal with it. But when you're missing the lid to the box itself, I mean, come on, man. Anyway, that is my very disappointing Airaid cold air intake attempt at installation on my Jeep Gladiator. I will pick this up, obviously, since I've run through all this. All that's really left is to put it in the truck. So we'll pick this up down the road when I have the rest of the parts. Again, I apologize for the half install. It's a drag. Leave a comment, I'd be curious. Ever have this happen? Worse yet, have you ever taken things off of your truck and then discovered that you didn't have everything you needed and had to put everything back on? I mean, could you imagine if it was something more complicated, like maybe an exhaust or even something worse? What a drag. Anyway, leave a comment, let me know, I'd be curious. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2020 Toyota Tacoma. And Rob Motive FST, that's FST, all about my 2021 Tundra and my quest for the new redesigned Tundra. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos like this very informative install fail. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.